Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge is basically taking away their defense?
Am I the only person in the world talking about attacking the timeline, attacking the timeline, attacking the timeline, attacking the timeline?
Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge is basically taking away their defense?
Taking away their defense.
Like, am I in crazy? 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 Like, am I in crazy?
Challenge the timeline of the murders.
Talking about attacking the timeline.
What's the strategy today? Winning.
Whose motherfucking hair is that?
What's the strategy today? Winning.
The consensus has been challenge the timeline of the murders. Challenge the timeline of the murders.
What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining. If you're here, if not, fuck yeah. So I was going to go live 2 nights ago, and then I postponed it, and I was going to go live last night, and then I postponed it, and so now I'm live. What's up? I am going to say hi to all of our friends because I haven't done that in a minute. Am I a scary driver? I like to think I'm a really good driver. I've been known to back into a space a time or two. I don't know what that says about me. Apparently, that's a questionable. Thanks. We got some work to do, but I appreciate that, Precocent. But yeah, I back into my parking spots for a quick getaway. I'm told that that's a weird thing to do, so. Psalm 91 was here, nice and early, as she always is. Happy to see you. Also, I have a thing in my ear. I don't know what that means for your experience. We're going to test it out. I think my mic is still my mic. Y'all will let me know if you can't hear me or something feels weird. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I know. Joanna, welcome. Donnie, good to see you, Donnie. Our friend, our whistleblower, our pal. Hi, Judy. Making a fresh cup of coffee or tea. I'm not sure which one. See you soon. Oops. True and True is coming. We have been digging deep, and you'll be held accountable and exposed for your actions. Hashtag free Rick Allen. Couldn't agree more. 5 minutes. Give or take. Bite that tongue, Mr. Worthlessness Carter. Hey, Steve and Angel. Good to see you both. Hi, Lindsay. Ashley. Hi. I feel like I've missed you. Hello. Gritty. Mama Gritty is here. Welcome, True Grit. Cosint. Cat. Glad to see you, Cat. Thank God. Always good when Cat is here. I've been deep cleaning my house all week, and for the holidays, I need a good break from it. Good evening, No Way. Good to see you. Hi again. Monday afternoon for Joanna. Happy Monday afternoon. I hope it's a good Monday. Happy Monday. That was me driving, by the way. I have been tracking the news, taking notes. There's some hate groups trying to push their narrative on the streets. I think the strategy is to distract and scare folks from other moves of higher ups. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. That was actually Brad Weber driving off the street. Yes. Thank you for fact checking me. You're absolutely right. That was Brad Weber driving home from Subaru. Because you're the best, Andy, to be a member of this house. Thank you very much, Steve. As always, so happy you're here. Happy for your friendship. Happy for your loyalty. Happy for your sharing the lives. Jonah drives without a license. That was my second thumbs up of the night. Well, silly things. Backer inners. Anything other than I read that one. I had to take a defensive driving class as a delivery driver. Backing is 100% recommended in preventing accidents. That's what they say. Shell. Good to see you, Shell. Hi, Dom. Dom S. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I can see the light through your sport rims. I know you're guilty. God. We're going to talk about some shit tonight. This is a late live, but what is time? Question number 1 of the evening. What is time? I don't know. Hi, Karen. Oh my God. I like your picture. Look at that little mush. Indy Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Hey, active shooter. Yeah, I don't like the tongue, the Carter tongue. I hope that everyone is good and disturbed. Hey, Raphael. Good to see you. Can we rent some hilarious billboards? Yeah. Yeah, we can, actually, and we should. I'm thinking Fort Wayne, maybe Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne sounds good. Only he could have ended up there at 228. Hey, Robert Webster, good to see you. I hope that things are okay where you are, that things are safe and peaceful, and that people are being normal. Love late lives. Yeah. There's a different vibe to them. They're good because you're rad. Thank you, Intellix. You're rad. Thank you very much. It's stomach turning watching other channels analyze the evidence that proved Alan's guilt and try to pretend it all fits together. I don't see it. I'm skeptical. I'm obviously I'm underselling my skepticism. Rick is innocent. Duh. But I'm skeptical about how a jury, well, we'll get to that. Hi, Rockaways. Hello, Queen of the Green. Time is what you do when you're convicted of a crime you didn't commit. So true. Court of public opinion. Good to see you. Love late lives. Arnhem. Quantum. Doug Carter's eyes got real big when his conversation with Kelsey German revealed Kelsey saying that she's friends with Quarter. Weird. I can't even begin to watch those channels. At this point, I'm not open-minded. How about some informative billboards with facts? I like that proposal. How about some facts about the case versus what the jury was served up? Love it. Let's start with no. I dare you tread onto the Delphi Reddit page. Man, I can't. How's your foot? It's okay. It's not elevated. I gotta figure out. I gotta put it up on something. It's okay. So I was out gallivanting and frolicking and buzzing about all day. I live in a very beautiful part of the state, with lots of just beautiful foliage. Although the foliage is gone, but just beautiful. And I went for a gallivant. And I didn't walk much, but I probably walked more than I should have, even just from my car to here and there. I don't think woman's in the live. By the way, everyone just make sure to tell woman doing a Krebin, woman doing an impossible, woman doing whatever she's doing right now. Make sure to tell her that you love her. Because I love her and I miss her. And, life is crazy. Just if you talk to her, tell her that you love her. Because it's good to do that. Dom watched football all day. Go Pack. Packers? I imagine that's what it means. Don't worry, everything's going to change when she releases audio and exhibits on a special website for students. Rockaway, you just gave me a trauma response. Maybe later. This live is supposed to have some structure, but let's be all the way fucking for real for a second. Do my lives ever really have structure when DB or Yellow Jacket are not running them? We're going to do our best. Yes, Green Bay. Cool. I like Green Bay. I'm not a huge football fan. But I like Green Bay. I like the Green Bay Packers. They feel likable. I don't know if it's because they're green and I'm a Taurus. I like green. That's the dumbest thing I've said in a minute. Ashley says woman is a literal best. She is literally the best. She's the best. That subreddit could be a sociological experiment in the deluded hatred of the masses by mass media. Yeah, it could be. I get some loose moccasin slippers or a lifesaver. Really? Oh, I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to have slippers on. I don't. I don't even know where they are. You do good, Ange. Thanks, Julian. Appreciate that. Hi, Matt Sullivan. I love all you guys. Same. Dom, I sent a Venmo. Thank you, Dom. That is so appreciated. Y'all are the best. Your support in the form of just like hanging out here with me on your, Sunday nights and in your free time honestly means the world. Y'all are often the best part of my day. And so it's nice to be here, but I also appreciate the additional support. Dom is much appreciated, never necessary, but always very grateful for you. Dory. Hi, Dory. Hello. Good to see you. Matt Sullivan, BFF. Glad you're here, friend. We're here for Boone. Boone's getting a haircut because he smells like he needs a haircut really bad. He's getting one next week for the holidays. He's getting a holiday haircut. There's 2 fires connected to this case, Flora and Stephanie Thompson, polygrapher of Elvis Field's sister. Mm-hmm. You're correct, Quantum. You are correct. Stephanie died in February 2022. Yes, Stephanie Thompson and Maya Thompson, her daughter, were killed in a house fire. She was an ISP polygrapher. She was a trooper and polygrapher, and she died, her and her daughter died in a house fire. I did start to read it, Raphael. I also forwarded it. So I did not finish reading it in detail, but I did forward it. So I will finish reading it. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Very much so. Move on. The trials. Banter, lion. Starting with your banter already. Move on. The trial's over. He's been found guilty. Appeals will be denied. I swear on my biker, Odin patch and tattoo. I love when Odin tat havers are in my chat. My favorite thing in the world. So I don't know if y'all noticed this. The thumbnail for the live tonight is extra gross. It's Doug Carter biting his tongue and Judge Gull handing out death penalty sentences as she does. It's been said that Dale McCurdy had crime scene pics. He and Anna Downham were shot to death in Dale's house before it was set on fire. Oh, I know about that one. Yeah, by like a hitman. He was like from another state. I got a lot of questions about that. And isn't there a Mullen connection in there somewhere? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there is. One of my dogs got a bath today for the holidays. The other one gets a bath tomorrow, whether he likes it or not. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Gotta do it. There are definitely things about our daily lives that I miss a whole lot. What is this? Oh, okay. Sorry, I just painted this wall. It was dark blue. Just not feeling it. I don't know what this is. It keeps catching my eye. It's late, y'all. It's late. It's ADHD free for all time. Absolutely. Mullen's sister? Oh, married to Mullen. Who's? We need to unpack that. He was married. He was an ex-in-law, right? Dale McCurdy had crime scene pics. He and Anna Downham were shot to death in Dale's house. McCurdy was married to Mullen's sister. So Anne is not Mullen's sister, but he was married to Mullen's sister at one time, as I imagine what you're saying. Ex-wife? So Mullen's ex-brother-in-law? Former brother-in-law? That's a little bit too close for comfort, if you ask me. That's weird. That's suspicious. Let me guess. That case is closed with a bow on it because the shooter arsonist drove back home and died by suicide, I believe. So tied up, nice and neat. Case closed. Yeah. Right. Okay. That's what I thought. I don't like that. And it's one of the, okay. I need to stay on track. Matt says, you gotta love grown adults dancing around in the woods naked, worship ancient pagan gods and sticks. Emily's here. Hi, Emily. Emily did the coolest thing. Okay. One in the chat for Emily. I don't know if y'all follow Emily Stone on X, but you need to. If a mod can drop a link, awesome. If not, I will do it. I always feel bad asking like mods to do things because I never give a heads up ever of anything. Ever. But if you have Emily Stone's tweet handy, please share it. She filed a complaint against Judge Gull as a concerned American. And she's a baddie. That's all there is to it. She's a fucking baddie. Crushed it. 100%. This is also true. There is a staggering amount of arson and undetermined cause origin fires in Carroll County. Yeah. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. And I try and like remove my own bias, cynicism, skepticism, all of the things about Indiana. Hi, Fiend. Fiend is here, everybody. Have no fear. The Weird Cat's here. Yeah, the white supremacy is really problematic to me. Here it is. Thank you, Kat. I looked into the guy from Wisconsin once. Daniel Rose, his name, killed Anna. Yep. Burned the home down, drove to Peru and off himself, supposedly. Very odd. Very strange. Strange things happening. Because apparently in Carroll County, you can just double homie two people with no apparent motive or, you know, just, and the cops are all too willing to chalk it up to whatever they have to say to close it up. Close it and seal it and lock it and throw away the keys because they know arsons are notoriously hard to solve. Yes, they do. The four girls from Flora, Indiana. It's been over 8 years since their murders. Kiara, Kiana, Kiriel, and Kiani. If Doug Carter's watching, we're going to have a phonetics lesson for him so he can learn their names once and for all. What up, what up? No coincidence. Brad Holder worked at Liberty Landfill. News 13 did reported out dangerous kayaks and missing people. And because she was 35 and he was 73. Wow. I love those names so much. It breaks my heart. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're not hard to learn. And even if they were, who gives a fuck? You're the superintendent of the Indiana State Police. You've done hard things before. You can learn 4 names. They're beautiful. Hello to our community, Cryptid. Hello, Cryptid. Good to see you, Cryptid. That is our Weird Cat. So, 2 things are coming up in December in Indiana. Number 1, on December 18th. Oops. I don't have any of my stuff pulled up. We're freeballing it tonight. Drive, login, something. And I don't have any of my shit saved. It's fine. It's fine. Someone in the chat, what's happening on December 18th? I know you know because I don't stop talking about it on X, on Twitter. Where's my folder? Conveniently labeled bitch, here's your folder, and I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Jaya. Welcome, Jaya. That thumbnail makes me want to punch the air. Punch it. Me too. We're all prisoners in this clockwork orange they call life, winding down day by day, the inevitable tick of oblivion. Queen of the Green, December 18th is my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday to Queen of the Green's brother. What I was referring to is nowhere near as nice nowhere near as lovely. Oops. Here we go. I need hold music and a quieter mouse. Okay. So, y'all, Indiana has not executed anyone in over a decade. Indiana is one of the yellow states in the map we pulled up the other night, of states who technically still legally use the capital punishment, the death penalty, but it is one of the kind of dormant cases that has not actually executed somebody in over a decade. Until they will be executing Mr. Joseph Corcoran. I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes I've heard it say Cochran. Sometimes I've heard Corcoran. I don't know what it is. But Mr. Joseph, Joseph's case history is pretty wild. So this is one of those cases where, and it's not even as simple as death penalty, good or bad, yes or no. It's even more troubling and confusing because this particular individual who is set to be executed on December 18th was sentenced to death in the 90s by Judge Francis C. Gull in Allen County. That in itself is whatever. The issue with his case is that this defendant, Joseph, he was found guilty by a jury for double murder. Quadruple homicide. So he was tried for two separate murders. He was tried first as a young adult, late teen young adult, for the murder of his parents. He was acquitted on that because the jury did not feel there was enough evidence to convict him. And then years later, he was also found guilty. He was found guilty of a quadruple homicide of 4 adults in his home. I believe it was like a brother-in-law, 2 relatives, and 2 friends. I need to know more details, but I don't because it's not entirely the point of this. But he was found guilty. He was death penalty eligible. There was a lot, as with every Gull case, it seems there was a lot of chaos in the prosecution, a lot of kind of convoluted issues with like his attorney and deadlines and all the shit. But anyway, he was found guilty. Judge sentenced him to death. Mr. Corcoran is diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. He has schizophrenia and paranoia and delusions. These are well documented. He's been diagnosed by multiple professionals many times over multiple decades. And this was a known diagnosis at the time of his trial. The issue basically is that he waived his right to appeal the sentence. And his attorneys have since argued he was not competent to do so. He waived his right to appeal the death penalty at the time. And his attorneys and advocates and many people since then have argued all the way up to the Supreme Court of Indiana that he was not able to make that decision because he was not competent to do so. He's very mentally ill. Gull was like, nah, he's fine. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. Sentence him to death. The case was appealed many times. The history of this case, you can look it up. It's a lot. It went before the Supreme Court in the 90s. They did not, overturn or repeal the sentence, or the conviction, but they did remand the case back down to the trial court, aka back down to Judge Gull, for resentencing because there were problems with it. There were a lot of questions as to whether he was competent to make the decision he made, whether he was given adequate, representation and opportunity to make an informed, decision and of sound mind, blah, 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 blah. So they remand the case to sentencing again. And what does Francis Gull do? She resentences him to death. Fabulous. So much like everything else in her career, huge fucking waste of time for everybody. So he's been on death row for all these years. They have filed many appeals. I don't want to get into like the quagmire of all of it, but I do want to read this most recent motion that was filed on the 15th, about a week ago, a little bit more. Great question, Shell. There's a lot of things that you're not allowed to do that Gull does. It's weird. She's a weirdo, dude. She's a weird lady. But here we go. We're going to read this as the most recent motion for stay of execution. Stay of execution basically just meaning pump the brakes, hold, please, pause, stop. Stay means stop, basically. Petitioner Joseph Edward Corcoran, by and through counsel, respectfully moves this court to stay his impending execution, scheduled for December 18th, 2024, to be carried out before the hour of sunrise. For virtually his entire life, Mr. Corcoran has been plagued by symptoms of psychosis and cognitive dysfunction. These symptoms continue to this day, and numerous mental health experts have diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia or precursors to the schizophrenic diagnosis. Okay. There is colorable evidence that Mr. Corcoran is incompetent to be executed pursuant to Panetti v. Quarterman and Ford v. Wainwright. It is unchallengeable, and law of this case, the extent of the seriousness of the mental illness, paranoid schizophrenia. Further, Mr. Corcoran seeks a change in the law regarding the application of the successor provisions. He relies on the Attorney General's accepted concession in federal court that a Ford claim is not ripe and further state court proceedings were necessary. As this court currently determined, as there is no current execution date set in Corcoran's case, this claim is unripe. Oh, this is from, okay, this is a previous decision, sorry. The state is bound by this prevailing contention from federal court. This court should enter a stay to permit the full and fair consideration of these colorable arguments, not rebutted by the record. Mr. Corcoran's longstanding serious mental illness presents a colorable Ford claim. According to Mr. Corcoran, he's tortured and has been for decades by the state of Indiana. Get in line. I'm just kidding. That's not sensitive. He really does believe this. He constantly suffers painful and frightening delusions and auditory hallucinations, namely that Indiana Department of Correction prison guards are using an ultrasound machine to torture him, and that he has a sleep disorder that causes him to unconsciously and unknowingly say inappropriate things that make people angry and retaliate against him. He also believes that he can hear people talking about him through the walls of his prison cell. The Attorney General conceded this point and has never presented contrary evidence. The trial court finding that the state concedes the petitioner is mentally ill, and these are all from previous appeals in this case. Trial court statement that the state of Indiana has conceded that the defendant suffers from mental illness, and I think that is probably a wise concession, gentlemen, as the evidence that was presented at the competency hearing, as well as the evidence presented at Mr. Corcoran's trial, was that he suffers from a mental disease or defect of mental illness. Not contested. This man is mentally ill. The court noted, the post-conviction court here acknowledged in its written findings that Corcoran suffers from a mental illness. The state also concedes he suffers from a mental illness. At the competency hearing, the state public defender presented the testimony of 3 mental health experts, each of whom concluded that he suffers from paranoid schizophrenia. One of the symptoms of Corcoran's condition, according to 3 experts, are recurrent delusions that the DOC, prison guards, are torturing him through the use of an ultrasound machine, causing him substantial pain and uncontrollable twitching. And for, very severe instances of psychosis, schizophrenia, auditory hallucinations are the most common. Visual they're not impossible, but they're far less common. Most common are auditory hallucinations. You hear things, and it's not like a faint, like whisper, like you hear things. It's like as real as me talking to you here. And kind of the persecutory type of paranoia or delusions. They're very sad. They're very scary. One becomes convinced that, the government or a larger kind of powerful overseeing entity is stalking, torturing, using like electronics and ultrasound machines to fuck with your brain. It's just absolutely devastating and tormenting and scary and awful. And these are real beliefs. We've talked a lot on this channel already. I know everyone in here is super informed and in the know about these things because y'all care a lot. But just to reiterate, psychosis, schizophrenia are serious, debilitating, often mental illnesses. And in the United States of America, in the year of our Lord, 2024, we do not use capital punishment We do not execute people who are seriously, severely mentally ill. Period. It's a draconian fucking thing to do. We don't do it here. Unless we're the state of Indiana. Moving on. Justice Rucker again dissented, noting that Corcoran's serious mental illness. It is apparent that since July 1997, his mental state has deteriorated significantly. So much so that his personality disorder is now developed into full-blown paranoid schizophrenia. In short, he is seriously mentally ill. How does his mental illness manifest? He is under the paranoid delusion that prison guards are torturing him with sound waves. As a result, he wants the state to execute him in order to end the pain. I'm not willing to accommodate him. Yeah, this is very sad. So again, the question is not about his guilt or innocence. He was found guilty. The evidence clearly suggests he committed the crime that he has been charged and convicted of and sentenced for. That is not really up for debate here in this particular instance. The question is not even as simple as whether the death penalty is good or bad, right or wrong, or should or shouldn't exist anymore. The question is, do we want to be a country that allows the government to kill seriously mentally ill people? Similar to the question of, do we want to be a country that allows the Department of Corrections to kidnap and disappear and illegally hold a pretrial defendant and then torture him in solitary confinement for 13 years, a defendant pretrial who's also seriously mentally ill? Do we want to be a country that does those things? I don't think that I want to exist in a country like that. That feels very draconian. It feels very medieval. It feels very, very backwards. It's detestable. It's terrifying. We don't kill. We don't allow state-sanctioned murder of seriously mentally ill people, guilty or not. And yet, here we are. A month, 3 weeks out. I don't know what Indiana is going to decide to do. But Mr. Corcoran's symptoms have not gone away. They persist. In 2024, he continues to suffer the debilitating symptoms of his paranoid schizophrenia. As he has for 20 years, he experiences auditory hallucinations, psychosis, and the ever-present delusions regarding an ultrasound machine that he believes the prison guards are torturing him with. And he has a legitimate sleep disorder. For instance, corrections records will establish he's received psychotropic medications to treat the symptoms of schizophrenia for 2 decades, specifically Geodon, Haldol, Navane, and Cogentin. All very tried and true. You know, everyone in here recognizes Haldol, but these are like very tried and true psychotropic medications for his type of psychotic disorder and schizophrenia. And when administered properly, ethically, responsibly, they often work quite well to mitigate symptoms. I think the argument that's being made here is, if this inmate didn't legitimately have a serious mental illness of psychosis and schizophrenia, the Department of Correction would not be administering strong antipsychotic psychotropic medications. Very great argument. It's an excellent argument. Some would say it's a bulletproof argument, which is weird because in the same breath, the state of Indiana is arguing that Rick Allen's confessions were made of sound mind and that he really wasn't that mentally ill, despite the fact that they were injecting him with Haldol for months. So kind of talking out of both sides of their whore mouths in Indiana, if you ask me, but that's just kind of what they do. Moving on, although the Indiana Department of Correction has attempted medicating him, his illness has proven to be resistant to treatment, and nothing during his incarceration has cured him of his paranoid schizophrenia. Okay, well, that's asking a lot, but it seems like, yeah, he's been unable to find relief through psychotropics, which is very sad. As recently as March 1st, treating correctional personnel noted, Judge Jessica, hi, Mom. Good to see you. Which prison is he being held in? Judy, that's a good question. I don't know, and we should look it up. It's a good question. Probably, I would hope and imagine one of the ones that are equipped for holding seriously mentally ill prisoners, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Patient then began sharing information about what he believes to be an ultrasonic machine here at ISP. So maybe Indiana State Prison, sounds like. that controls him and others' thoughts, sleep, voice, etc. Patient reports he's top secret. It is top secret, but it bothers him endlessly all day. The machine does put him to sleep at night. Others think I'm delusional, but I know it's here. Writer inquired if patient ever recognizes his own thoughts as delusional. He avoided the questions. He denies mental health symptoms, and he expressed delusions are the only observable concern. In addition, on September 8th, Mr. Corcoran published a book under the pseudonym J.C. Chase. It's entitled A Whistleblower Report, Electronic Harassment. They then went on to attach the entire book. It's a glimpse into the continuing delusion where he describes, I'm not going to read all of these because they're just, I don't think it's necessary, but it just goes on to prove, to support his very obvious mental illness. So they actually included like a copy of the book for the, as an exhibit. In short, thank you, Emily. Yes. Awesome. In short, Mr. Corcoran's longstanding documented mental illness continues to torment him. There's colorable basic basis to explore forward competency. His paranoid schizophrenia completely removes him from reality. He cannot distinguish between reality and his, my God, slow it down, Angela. He cannot distinguish between reality and his delusions and hallucinations. His delusions are his reality. And because his reality is informed by his delusions and hallucinations, he's incapable of rational thought. Throughout his legal proceedings, he's been unable to assist his counsel with defense, unable to make rational decisions about his case. Indeed, currently he wants to be executed and is in fact eager for his execution because he believes that execution will relieve him from the pain of the ultrasound machine and sleep disorder. Because he lacks the ability to engage in rational thought, he also lacks the ability to rationally understand the world and reality around him. Accordingly, he lacks any sort of rational understanding of his impending execution. While he may be able to parrot what his attorneys and other jurists have told him that the death penalty is a punishment, over the almost 3 decades long span of this case, his words and behavior reveal and reinforce his true belief. The death sentence is a means to an end his delusional suffering, which to him is not punishment. In other words, he does not truly and rationally understand that he was sentenced to death as punishment for being convicted of 4 counts of murder. The evidence presented in his proposed post-conviction petition of his inability to rationally understand his sentence at the very least meets the threshold showing under Ford. Thus, he is incompetent to be executed. Carrying out his execution despite his lack of rational understanding of capital punishment would violate the 8th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 16 of the Indiana State Constitution. Mr. Corcoran has concurrently requested permission from the court to file a successive post-conviction petition in the Superior Court of Allen County, good luck, on this Ford Panetti incompetence to be executed claim, and has requested a judicial hearing, as is required under Panetti because Mr. Corcoran satisfies the threshold showing of incompetence. Panetti requires due process for consideration of a Ford claim and faulted the Texas court's failure to provide it. The fundamental requisite of due process of law is the opportunity to be heard. Gull, are you listening? Means a hearing. Gull doesn't like to give hearings. She does not like to grant them. She's like, due process, kiss my ass, which requires a state court's determination of competency to be executed. It must be premised upon a process that allows the presentation of material relevant to the ultimate decision. The due process clause requires a fair hearing in accord with fundamental fairness. Every expert subject to adversarial testing this millennium has indicated that Mr. Corcoran does not possess a rational understanding of the world. The post-conviction trial court set those opinions aside 2 decades ago. However, recent correction records and his own writings demonstrate a medically resistant strain of schizophrenia. In Mr. Corcoran's world, he continues to be tortured. Any previous competency determination upon which the AG might rely is stale and requires a contemporaneous assessment and a fair and meaningful hearing. The exact point they previously argued in federal court. A stay should issue to permit this court to proceed as it did in Mr. Timberlake. In Mr. Timberlake's case, where an expert was appointed to perform an evaluation. A stay should issue to permit an evaluation to occur. We're almost done. Do I want to read all of this? Conclusion. Mr. Corcoran presents a colorable. It keeps using the word colorable. I guess it's fine. I mean, it's not a bad word. It's fine. Tinklake. Oh, God. Mental illness is so cruel. It is, Tammy. Did you take an edible or no, I wish. It would help my foot, though. I should. Mr. Corcoran presents a colorable Ford claim. Ford claimed that the AG argued in federal court needed to be presented in state court after an execution date was set. This court should stay his December 18th execution so that the newly ripened Ford claim may be provided the required process that it's due. A stay is warranted so that he may have the meaningful opportunity to present his Ford claim, given that a colorable claim has been presented. Please don't execute this very severely mentally ill man. At least allow us a hearing to present new, fresh, ripe evidence that his mental illness persists and he has no rational understanding of what he is about to face. Period. I hate when people don't take mental illness seriously. Me too, Tammy. Judge Francis Gull does not believe that mental illness should be any kind of a mitigating factor. Hey, Truth Seeker, good to see you. Yes, we're praying for Mom. Definitely praying for Mom. For sure. Faux show. So there's another thing I wanted to go through, and I've gone through this before. However, I did not prepare. So I need 30 seconds to upload these. But I want to talk a little bit about Gull. It seems as though the prison has been, I know what you mean, it's fine. My words always work, so I can't relate, but I know what you mean. It seems as though the prison has been medicating him with psychotropic medications. They're arguing, or not, they're not arguing, his attorneys are asserting that he has very treatment-resistant type of schizophrenia, which is incredibly sad. Not terribly uncommon, unfortunately, but just definitely incredibly sad. So I don't know. But then again, how well are we really medicating and treating anybody with severe mental illness in a state institution in the state of Indiana? Probably not great. Probably not great. Not a strong point in Indiana. They're not too good at doing the bare minimum when it comes to treating and supporting individuals with severe mental illness. What can I say? There's so many Judge Gull screenshots that I really want to share with you. Just have to upload them. It's gonna take a minute. They're really good. Also, not that this is super relevant, but Judge Diener shaved his head in November 2022, and I just find that so fucking weird. Why'd you shave your head, Ben? You weirdo. Anyway, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like a weird thing for him to do. Whatever. Indiana State Prison in Michigan City. One of 14 people in Indiana DOC under the sentence of death. God, Judge Gull gives me the heebie-jeebies, y'all. She's such a fucking scary face. Okay, so this I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna share this on the screen, but I am gonna read a comment from someone that we know and trust. Posted this back in when Gull was first appointed to the case. So she posted this back in November 2022. So people on the Reddit boards were talking about, oh, what do we think about the new judge? She seems pretty good. She's had a lot of experience. She's a woman. I was excited. I was like, yes, finally, fucking woman joins the, pulls a seat up at the table. So friend, Reddit poster, legitimate, verified person with experience says, I was once sitting next to her, Judge Gull, at a judicial conference. Mental illness may be considered a mitigating factor in Indiana, which means that a court may consider that it's something in the defendant's favor during sentencing. Most people are aware of that. You don't have to, but you can present mental illness as a mitigating factor. If there are obvious mental health issues and the judges don't consider them to be mitigating, the judge should at least make a record of that. At the conference, Judge Fran Gull blurted out that she considered mental illness to be, quote, an aggravating factor, end quote, to be used to increase someone's sentence. She said she was going to try to work the state legislator, and she was booed by the majority of other judges in the room. Crazy. My name is Indiana, and I am not okay. I'm not okay. Oh, I should have played that at the beginning of this live. Where are my millennial emo kids? Hi, Free Ricky Bay. I didn't know that was a real quote. I thought it was someone being silly. No, it really happened. And her judicial record supports such assertion. She goes on to say in a follow-up, the woman seated on the other side of me was a judge in a mental health court, had a son with severe mental illness. She was a wonderful advocate for mental health treatment, was very devoted to that cause. I thought she was going to rip Fran's face off. Mm-hmm. Okay. What a B, y'all. You know? What an absolute B. What a C and a B and a T and a D H. Dickhead. Walla is the same character, Nurse Ratched. Yeah, she really is. Hey, Bunny. Good to see you. How is she sleeping at night? With the fan on high, Steve. With the fan on high. That's how she sleeps at night. Like a real psycho. Also B. Yeah, also butthead. Ashley's been stuck in top chat. Everybody get out of top chat. Get into all chat. Lots of alcohol. Hopefully. We could do the whole damn alphabet. Yeah, we could. Hey, Indiana DB. What I'd give to see that. Yes. Everyone send woman doing a carbon lots of love. She's been going through it. We love her and we think about her. Thank you for saying that, DB. Mad love to our woman doing a carbon. Hanging upside down the closet like a bat. That's funny, like Dracula. That's great. Also, this is not related. I have a little family member, 3. Adorable. So I guess if you have an elf on the shelf, you have to name this creepy little thing. She named it Dracula, which is weird and awesome. I don't know why. She takes after me, I guess. But she named her elf on the shelf Dracula. I don't know why. I don't know what her exposure to Dracula has been, but that's fucking awesome. Poor thing. She's definitely one of us, if you know what I mean. I love her too. She's amazing. I was like, Dracula, who picked Dracula? And her dad was like, she did. Okay, I have some crazy Judge Gull screenshots that I'm going to share. I'm just going to do a mass copy pasta and hope that, I'm doing I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to upload all of them. And if we get a nude or something in here, I'm just kidding. I don't have nudes on the iPad. It is what it is. It's fine. It is fine. There's some crazy fucking decisions this woman has made. I don't know what her fucking deal is. She's just hateful. She just seems hateful. Yeah, we love her. Round burgundy, that's awesome. That's your elf on the shelf. Amazing. Free Ricky Bay. Ours is Starlight. Love it. No Gull nude. No, not Gull nudes. I don't. Let the record show I do not possess a single Gull nude, nor do I want to. Did you say nudes? Did someone say nudes? Lord. I'm almost done, y'all. I promise. We're so close. It's happening. It's happening. It's all happening, y'all. It is all happening. I don't know what to tell you, my guy. I've been telling you. I mean, it's all right, though. It's about quality, not quantity. even though I'm getting fucking crushed. It's fine, because I'm happy to be here. But I don't know what's going on. It's whatever. Is it the thumbnails? Is it my lack of planning? Is it my lack of like clickbaity? I thought that Doug Carter biting his tongue was like kind of clickbaity, but whatever. Who cares? I don't give a fuck. Fuck them other hoes. My main bitch is here with me. I told you. I told you. Get up off the floor. People are attacking you on the internet. I know. Mostly my own friends. All right. Let me make sure this uploaded. It did. We're going to go in these without any rhyme or reason. I just want to make sure really quick that I didn't upload anything weird. How do I breathe without you? Okay, that's me trolling Bob Mata in a loving way. How do I breathe without you? If you ever go, how do I ever? We love Angie, all 83 of us. Thanks, Steve. Man, I love a late night live on a Sunday scary though. Like, you know, I do them too early and I'm like, oh, it's too early. One night I'm going to do a totally, like, I'm just going to monetization off. Fuck that shit. We're just going to do a karaoke party, dance party. We're just going to play all the copyright infringed songs and we're just going to, you know. Woman, everyone drop a woman. What's your favorite number? What's your favorite number? I'm happy to see you. Yeah, chat loves you a lot. We were all talking about that. We were all talking about you before you came. How wonderful you are and how much we love you. Oh, this is a good question. Something's going on there. I don't know what it is, but it's something. It is something. It's real work to get all the backstory to all the jokes, I guess. But I haven't even been telling that many. I've been trying to keep it like focused. I even read a thing, you know? I read a thing. Woman, chat loves you. Love you so much. We also love Angel. We love you. We all love you. Me love you long time, says Indie Cindy. Proposed it says, woman. How many of y'all have downloaded Kendrick Lamar's new album? Monster! I wanted to start the live tonight with just like monster, but I was like, I'm not gonna do it. It's too late for that. It's like wind down time, not hype up time. Hey, BGOG. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think we're good. I don't think there's anything weird in here. We're fine. We're just gonna share some screenshots. DB loves screenshots, by the way. If y'all ever have anything to show DB, make sure you do it in the form of a screenshot. Always good to send DB screenshots instead of like, you know, Google Docs or like text. And he doesn't like nice, neat text. He likes screenshots with lots of colors and highlights and circles and like all of the things. So that's what you can do for DB. Mustard in it. Okay. I just thought these tweets were funny. Look at when this tweet is from. 2012, Judge Gull say, I will give everyone who comes to my courtroom the maximum penalty. If I give out 1 million years, so be it. What hearing is this from? I have no idea, my love. This is from Yo Mom Blew Me. This is from at Yo Mom Blew Me from the year of our Lord 2012. I have no idea what this hearing is, but yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Unleash the inner 5-year-old crayon vibe on the screenshots for DB. Yes, 100%. 2012. I need me a record. I don't know. 2012. Yo Mom Blew Me. It's a good name. Oh, I don't have my Kleenex in here. My nose is doing a run. It's fine. It's fine. I'll use my sleeve. See, we're fine. It's my sleeve. I can do it if I want to. Clip that. Clip it. Oh, but that kind of hurt. Next up. The block is happy that Judge Gull didn't get that Supreme Court seat. Once again, Yo Mom Blew Me. 2012. This woman gives out basketball numbers. Here's Mia Gritch. I had a dream. Judge Gull locked me back up the night before I got locked up again. I got to pay attention to that shit more. It was a premonition. That's 2019. Okay. Judge Gull does not fuck around. SMH giving basketball numbers. Get it? Basketball numbers. Like, she does be doing a sentence, a ridiculous sentence. This is from March 2012. This is from 2022. Demetria says, hey, Alan Superior Court. I love this energy, by the way, because I, too, have started a tweet once, twice. In my life, I've had an occasion to start a tweet with, hey, Alan Superior Court. Friendly reminder, Judge Gull is still an evil bitch. Can't say that I argue. Can't say I disagree with that. I mean, can't argue with that. So this I have to go back and find. This was somebody who was unhappy with a sentence that Gull had imposed, somebody with a mental illness. It's not okay to kill disabled people. Maybe this is, I don't know if this might be. I need to go back and look. Judge Gull, who accepted the plea agreement, said that both sides had worked together to reach a compassionate conclusion to the case. Compassionate to everyone except Alex, I suppose. Yeah, we need to figure out what that is for. If only Mayor Tom Henry and the city of Fort Wayne powers that be hadn't denied bail to the protesters. This must be, okay, so this is Black Lives Matter. This is right after the murder of George Floyd. If you disagree with that statement, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want it to change the way I think about you. Don't come into the chat with any bullshit about George Floyd. Please be normal. I beg you all. God, I can't tonight with that shit. But anyway, this was right around the time of the Black Lives Matter protest, so I imagine that that's what they're referring to. Judge Gull said that she made the decision to hold protesters without bond pending hearings. Evil bitch. Denying bail for protesters. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Indeed, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I can't, yeah, denying bail until a hearing. Okay, so that you're denying bail. That's what you're doing. One note that didn't fit this story dropped my jaw. Judge Gull said that people have literally told her, quote, while I'm racist, I couldn't possibly be fair to certain defendants just to get out of jury duty. I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah. Indiana Law Blog. Reporter is found in contempt for texting. Judge Gull orders his phone destroyed. 2012. There have been multiple instances of that. Multiple instances of Judge Gull taking a fucking sledgehammer to a phone. Oh, there she is. Hi. I just hate her bracelet. I don't know why I wanted to show this picture. She just looks, I don't know. I wanted to figure out what case this was for, but of course, like most things in Indiana, when you click on the hyperlink, it disappears. So maybe we can all do a group project and try and figure out mental test ordered in slaying case. Allen Superior Court Judge Fran Gull ordered a set of mental examinations for someone in May 2011. I don't know, another Judge Gull case dealing with mental illness. All right. What is this for? This is John Bernston Bristol. Open government job halfway finished. Modifications that strengthened Indiana's law permitting citizens access to government records became law. Apparently, no one informed Judge Gull. In April 1st. Oh, no. In April, I filed an open access suit against Central Noble School Corporation seeking documentation of its expenditures for legal services regarding keeping my children's education records from me. Noble Circuit Court Judge Lohr recused himself from the case and sent it to the Indiana Supreme Court for the appointment of a special judge. On her appointment, Gull issued a rule to show cause why this case should not be dismissed for failure to prosecute this action. The Central Noble School Corp did not even show up for the hearing. Nevertheless, Gull dismissed the case on October 13th. She rejected arguments that the legislator clearly expressed the public policy of this state by passing the enhancement. So this is about, Gull also rejected the argument that I would simply re-request the records when denied. I would refile the suit. Open access can only work if the Indiana judiciary is willing to recognize the principle of separation of powers and not view itself as a handmaiden of the executive branch. Ooh! John Bristol. Oh no, you're from Bristol. John Burnston. Who the fuck is this public access daddy? Probably problematic because I just gave him a compliment. That's what always happens. Fucking slay, dude. Open access can only work. The Indiana judiciary is willing to recognize the principle of separation of powers and not view itself as a handmaiden of the executive branch. Gull has clearly expressed her contempt for the notion that we have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Anyone disagree here? I think we all agree. Hi, Fiend. Fiend was here earlier, but hi again, Fiend. I'm happy you're here. And someone had a theory that if she was a close enough contact with drugs, it would explode. Like a werecat? Interesting. Interesting. Oh my god, yum. I like putting Twizzlers in the refrigerator. I refrigerate all my candy. Sometimes I freeze it. Where I live has a really good, like, authentic Italian cookies. I freeze the fuck out of them and then I eat them. I don't know. I like cold dessert. It's weird. I don't want to be a handmaiden. Yeah. Everyone in the 313. Making a Judge Gull voodoo doll. Anybody want one? They're literally. I know most people hate them. They are disgusting. I will give you that. They're disgusting, but I love them. I refrigerate Reese's. Me too, for sure. Most chocolate. Dom, put them in the fridge. Just try it. Just try it. Put a handful in the fridge overnight. See how it fancies. See how you fancy it. See how it tickles you. Okay. Anyway, Indiana newspapers rose to the challenge of raising the open access issue to the Indiana legislature. The job is only halfway finished. Unless and until Indiana's judiciary recognizes that open government is inherent to democracy, we will not have open government in Indiana. Period. I don't know when this is from. This is like, I want to say from like over 2 decades ago. This is a recurrent issue in Indiana with Judge Gull. She's like, fuck you. All right. This is another case involving Mr. Jansen Hamlet. I don't have a date on this one either. I suck. Man sentenced to 95 years will appeal, claiming his innocence. Man sentenced to 95 years in prison for murder and attempted murder insists he's innocent and intends to appeal. Jansen Hamlet, 20 of Fort Wayne, was tried twice. Interesting. I don't remember this. Okay. During both trials, he said that he was in Marion, Ohio, when John J. Ray was fatally shot and 2 other people were wounded on October 12, 1999. The first jury was deadlocked. The second convicted. Interesting. I hate. Y'all. Oh. I'm not even touching that. On Friday, Allen Superior Court Judge Fran Gull sentenced Hamlet to 65 years for murder and 30 in prison for 2 attempted murder. He's to serve them consecutively. Of course he is. With credit for good behavior, he could be released in 46 years. He based his defense on mistaken identity. 7 relatives testified that he was in Ohio at the time of the shootings. Oh, but the 2 people who survived identified him as the man who shot Ray, as he was cutting another man's hair inside. This feels like a problem. DB, have you ever heard of this case before? I haven't. 7 family members said he was actually in Ohio. But 2 people who survived a traumatic shooting, eyewitness identified him. I wonder, is he black? Was this a cross-racial identification? I wonder. I'm going to put my money on yes. This was a cross-racial identification. Yeah, I've not heard of this one either, Judge. I want to say the guy that wrote it is no longer employed with the paper. CCS doesn't have records. Okay. We're going to make a list of all of the things we need to FOIA in the next few months. I think this case is probably one of them. Because I'm already like, that's fucking weird. So a deadlocked jury followed by a conviction based on eyewitness testimony, even though 7 family members were like, oh, this motherfucker was actually in Ohio with us. That's troubling. Judge orders phone destroyed. Fort Wayne. A judge has denied a man's request that his cell phone be seized at a courthouse annex be returned to him, instead ordering it destroyed. Rick Snyder said he was just trying to follow the rules when security seized his phone. He contends that the sign posted on the front of the Allen County Courthouse Annex building indicating cell phones not allowed is not visible when the doors open. Seems like a reasonable argument. The sign at the security checkpoint reads, no cell phones beyond this point. So he did not take his cell phone past that point, leaving it near the sign. I abided by the sign, he said after the hearing. County judges in January banned all electronic devices. Is Fiend in here still? Did you hear that, Fiend? Banning all electronic devices. Interesting. From the Allen County Courthouse, the Justice Center, the Allen County Juvenile Center, and the Annex. The judges said that they are disruptive and a safety concern when people use them to take pictures or videos of witnesses or victims, jurors, and attorneys. How often is this happening? Because people have been bringing cell phones into courthouses forever. And what? This is weird. This is bullshit. Only county employees and attorneys with approved county-issued photo identifications are exempt. So only Judge Gull's little approved click is allowed to break the law. I don't know the answer to this. It's weird though. I mean, it's fine. Maybe, I mean, to be honest, I can own, hey, maybe I'm just like not, you know, everyone's cup of tea. I don't know. But it has been, there's something, I don't know, it's been noticeably, yeah. I'm wondering where our regulars are. Hey, Prof K, good to see you. Good to see you. And Jenny, good to see you, Jenny. When you use white noise, no phone's allowed. Yeah, no considerations allowed in court. Right. Since its inception, 30 cell phones have been seized and destroyed by the Sheriff's Department. Snyder argued that the cell phone is a tool, as common as car keys or pens when people are out in public. He told Judge Gull that while the ban claims to be for the benefit of the public, it actually impedes them. I agree with that. Snyder researches liens and judgments and is in the building often. During the hearing, Allen County Superior Court Judge Fran Gull asked Snyder whether the ban applies to him. Oh my God, can you imagine? What a cunt. Oh my God. Mr. Snyder, let me ask you, does the cell phone ban apply to you too? Bitch, you know it does. That's not he didn't fucking know the rule. Oh, she's evil. He said it does, but asked that those who use the court buildings frequently be exempt. She responded the exemptions were built into the order already. The order is what the order is, she said. This woman fucking sucks. Can you say that? Snyder said that he intends to appeal the decision, even though his phone is likely already destroyed. I'm not going to let it go, he said. Spoiler alert, I'm sure he did, because whatever. Oh, here we go. Yeah. This one sucks. Judge says a confession is admissible in court. A confession made by a man accused of killing his wife and 3 children can be used as evidence at his trial, Judge Gull ruled. Simon Rios, 35, faces the death penalty if convicted at his trial in October. Defense attorney sought to keep the statements to police out of his trial, but Allen Superior Court Judge Fran Gull on Friday denied it. Quote, it certainly doesn't come as a surprise to me, so it doesn't change the way that both the state and I intend to try this case, end quote, said Michelle Krause, one of his attorneys. It's a death penalty case. A lot of this falls within the court's discretion, i.e. Gull. Krause said that the defense likely will ask Gull to delay the trial so they can further examine whether whether Rios is mentally retarded, which would make him exempt from the death penalty. This must be an older article. At a hearing in June, a doctor testified that Rios has an IQ that shows he is mildly mentally retarded and that he has the reasoning skills of a 5-year-old. She's like, nah, confessions, still good. Execute him. Okay, this is Mr. Cochran's case. So this article is from, it's older, but it talks about his waiving of his right to continue appealing. So a man convicted of 1987 murders of his brother and 3 other men has become the first Indiana death row inmate to waive his rights to an appeal, stating adamantly that he wants to be executed. That right there, y'all. Just that in itself. Does that sound like somebody with a sound mind making a decision in the cool light of reason, who's fully aware and understanding and comprehending. He's waiving his right to appeal, and he wants to be executed. Okay, that is something, actually, DB and I talked about this a little earlier. That's not an uncommon thing for convicted, people to express once they're on death row. But like, he waived his right to continue appeal. Like, he was not of sound mind when he waived this right at all. Joseph Corcoran, 28. He's only 28, y'all. Told Judge Gull Friday he'd rather be put to death than continue appealing. He made the same request during an October hearing. He rejected an opportunity to change his mind when Judge Gull offered, and even urged him to do so after finding him competent. After Judge Gull found him competent to waive his right, she said, "Would you like to reconsider since you're competent? Because I, Judge Gull, not an expert in mental health at all, not qualified or certified to make any competency determinations. You want to change your mind? You want to reconsider? I'll give you an opportunity." No, he doesn't want to reconsider. His perception is his reality, and his psychosis is his reality, and his delusion is his reality, and his reality says, I want to be executed. All right. Corcoran, who lost his mandatory first appeal, refuses to sign the paperwork concerning the next legal step. His signature is required to continue with appeals. The next step is likely to be in the hands of the Indiana Supreme Court. His public defender was disappointed with Gull's finding. She believes that he's mentally ill and he can't make such decisions for himself. No shit. McFadden said she'll wait for the state Supreme Court to say what the next step is. Corcoran's decision to waive his appeal rights is a precedent in Indiana. No death row inmate before him has ever made such a request. Man, there's so many first-time unprecedented things before Judge Gull, Crazy. In May 99, a jury convicted him of 4 counts of murder. He lived with his brother, talks about the case, very sad. He's mentally ill. He's paranoid. He thought that they were plotting to hurt him, and so he killed him. It's very sad. However, before he killed him, he took his younger niece, who was like 12, put her in a bedroom far away, turned on music or TV so she wouldn't hear whatever, and then he killed the 4 adults. Not condoning murder at all, certainly not quadruple homicide, but this man was paranoid. He thought that they were plotting against him to kill him. Does he need to probably be locked up away from society forever? Yeah, sure. Do we need to execute him? Probably not. Probably not. Err on the side of caution. Let's not execute somebody with paranoid schizophrenia. I don't know. What do I know? The defense and the prosecution presented arguments about his competency to Gull in late October. She fucking sucks. That's all. The end. Okay. I just want to read this. I'm not trying to get into yes, I am. Let's read this. A newspaper review finds that sentences are unequal for white and black defendants. Gasp. Y'all hold on to your hair. I know that's a shock to everybody here. There are insane disproportionalities and disparities in sentencing for white and black defendants. Guess who are often sentenced more punitively and severely? Yes, you'll never guess. However, the reason I want to highlight this because this woman, this is certainly a take. So, Christopher Hilton and Joseph Wilson have much in common, but their sentences for murder convictions are not among the similarities. Hilton, who's black, received a 60-year prison term for killing a white man. Wilson, who's white, received 40 years, recently reduced to 30 for killing a black man. The disparity between the sentences of the 2 men is not an anomaly. Black homicide defendants in Allen County were sentenced to an average of 4 more years behind bars than whites, according to a review by the Journal-Gazette of 308 homicides and 154 defendants sentenced between 1990 and 2000. This is old, y'all, and it hasn't gotten better. When the victim's race is considered, the 19 blacks who killed whites received an average of 12 years more than the 8 whites who killed blacks. Judges and prosecutors insist that they treat each case separately and never consider race. Many issues, including the details of the crime, criminal history, and acceptance of guilt, go into the sentencing decision, they say. Another reason for the different sentences results from blacks being convicted of murder nearly 3 times more than whites. A charge of murder, as opposed to a lesser charge, carries the highest possible punishment. That can't, but yeah, there you go. That can't have anything to, certainly that disparity is not questionable. My God. Defendants such as Hilton are left to wonder how the disparities arose. Quote, that hurts. It's comical to believe. It's so hard to believe. In a telephone, I thought the justice system was about justice. In compiling a computer database of homicide statistics, the Journal Gazette considered only the sentence related to the homicide charge and not sentences from any additional. The newspaper's analysis did not include 5 black men who received life in prison without parole and the 1 white man who received the death penalty because those sentences could not be numerically measured. The database was compiled from court files, death certificates, newspaper archives, and police records. That's interesting. That's an interesting study for the 2000s. Good for you. The database, the results of the newspaper's analysis are consistent with findings by national groups critical of the death penalty. Quote, that doesn't mean that the judge and jury comes out and says, we're sentencing you to this because you're black, said Mark Maurer, assistant director of the Sentencing Project in Washington, D.C., a nonprofit group that studies sentencing and encourages alternatives to prison. Quote, it is unconscious and it builds up along the way, end quote, he says. Yes, 100%. I don't believe that a judge or court it's implicit bias. It's still a problem, and it still needs to be dealt with. It's unconscious and builds up along the way, he said. Judge Fran Gull disagrees. Dun, dun, dun. Of course she does. Of all the things that just didn't require this bitch to express an opinion about, this one probably ranks really high on that list. You probably don't need to open your mouth, Fran, and opine about this. Certainly not to defend yourself and to refute the claims of a nonprofit research group in Washington, D.C. that studies this exclusively. But Gull's an expert in everything, if y'all didn't know. So... quote, race never matters, end quote, said Gull, who was the sentencing judge in many of the homicide cases analyzed. Are we shocked? Quote, I don't look at the color of the skin of the offender. I look at the offender, their family, their record, and the circumstances of the crime, end quote. Did y'all hear that? So Judge Gull doesn't look at their skin color, but she looks at their family, their record, and the circumstances of the crime. As if somebody's family and their criminal record are totally independent of and from their race. As if we literally just read that Black people are disproportionately charged with crimes, not just sentenced differently. And we already know, the research has been very clear about the lack of disparity in the number of crimes being committed by Black versus white people, pretty equitable across the board. These huge disparities in crimes being committed don't exist. However, the huge disparity in charges and sentencing do. Gull's like, I don't see color, bitch. Yeah, you know. Gull, like all her judicial colleagues, is white. Cool. Anyway, I just thought that was this fucking woman, man, right? She's awesome. She fucking thinks she knows everything. Another very sad case. A woman who said that she threw away the body of her 5-year-old daughter in the trash was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Quote, I just wish that I could go home and be with my kids. I miss them so much. Kenitra Suttle said on Monday in Allen Superior Court before a judge sentenced her on charges of moving a body from the scene of a violent or suspicious death. Suttle's 2 remaining children, 4 and 2, were removed from her custody after Christina was reported missing in December. A court will determine whether she'll ever regain custody. The 23 years old, Fort Wayne woman said that she found Christina, who suffered from cerebral palsy, dead in her bed on December 11th. She told authorities that she wrapped the girl's body in a sheet, put it in a duffel bag, and took it to a trash bin outside the apartment because she was afraid that someone would accuse her of wrongdoing. Judge Gull says, quote, you threw her in a dumpster like yesterday's garbage. How a mother can do that is absolutely beyond this court, said Fran Gull. It gets better. Suttle's brother, Sean, said that jail would not help his sister, who was diagnosed with a form of schizophrenia. Katrina has a mental problem, he said. Jail doesn't help mental problems. Fran Gull said that she took Suttle's mental condition into account, but that Suttle had not obtained counseling or taken medication as doctors prescribed. I'm sorry. That sounds like another way of saying a person with a severe, debilitating, persistent mental illness, such as schizophrenia, is having trouble adhering to treatment recommendations and medication recommendations. Almost like that's like a really fucking common thing when you have a severe, debilitating mental illness or type of schizophrenia or psychosis. Medication adherence, treatment adherence is really, 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 really hard. It's really hard for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is probably because you're fucking schizophrenic and psychotic. So your basic level of functioning is already very low if you are experiencing acute symptoms. This fucking woman, dude. Quote, I agree with your brother that jail is not the best place for you, but where am I supposed to put you when you don't follow through? Gull said. I agree that jail is not appropriate for you, but where the fuck am I supposed to put you? Man, if only there were like services or advocates or court employees or state employees or, you know, designated processes, agencies, people that existed to determine whether a sentence was appropriate or if a environment was appropriate for somebody with a mental illness. If only there were like I don't know, like a social worker maybe, or like a court advocate, some kind of like an adult guardian ad litem. I mean, if only. Oh wait, that shit does exist. Gull just doesn't fucking care because she thinks that if you're mentally ill, you belong in prison or jail. This basically is like, I agree with your brother, jail's not the best place for you, but that also makes it my problem to figure out and to solve, and I just don't really want to do that. I'd much rather just throw you in jail for 3 years, even though you just lost a child. This is so true. Yeah, Nick McClellan is the prosecutor in Carroll County, is basically the victim advocate. It's awesome. It's great. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Oh, by the way, she also ordered her to pay $7,600 to help with a 6-week search at a landfill. $7,600 is an insurmountable amount of money for most people, especially people with severe mental illness. So, might as well just sentence her indefinitely. That's fucking stupid. Oh, this one's sad. I'm sorry. If y'all are trigger warning of pit bulls, get ordered destroyed. A judge has ordered that 46 pit bull dogs confiscated from an alleged dogfighting operation be destroyed after defense attorneys examined the animals. Allen County Superior Court Judge Fran Gull gave the lawyers 24 hours to conduct the exam of 46 pit bulls, even though she found that sufficient evidence about the dogs had already been documented. The dogs' owners, 2 men and a woman, have been charged with the dogfighting scheme. The animal shelter said she wasn't sure when the dogs would be destroyed. What is with these? Hey, DB, miss you. Yeah, this sucks. I don't know why they're using the word destroyed. It's weird. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of like not wanting to actually exert any energy. Like, it just seems like a lot of laziness. Basically, laziness is what drives the majority of these decisions, it would seem, in Gull's court. If I were to take a guess. Authorities seized 51 pit bulls on April 16th, 46 from a home and 5 from a Fort Wayne home. 4 of the dogs were stolen from the animal shelter. 1 died from a virus. Lewis said it cost the city $18 a day to keep each pit bull, not including any extra medical care. That would mean it has cost more than $14,000 to care for them since they were picked up. Well, money Money. Public safety director told Gull it was unfortunate the dogs had to be destroyed, but they said they can't be adopted as pets. It's sad. It sucks. This is just from 2016, one of Gull's 3 unsuccessful attempts to get on the Supreme Court of Indiana. Fail, bitch, you fail. Okay, this has to do with Corcoran, I believe. Yes. This is from 2009. The Supreme Court remands the Indiana death penalty case. This is what we were talking about earlier. The main issue has been whether Joseph Corcoran, who suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, was mentally competent when he waived his right to have a trial court review his case, and whether his constitutional rights were violated when the prosecutor offered to take the death penalty off the table if he agreed to a bench trial rather than a jury trial. It's a weird fucking thing to offer. That's a really fucked up thing to offer, actually. I don't remember that. Jesus Christ. Allen Superior Judge Gull found that Corcoran was competent when he decided to bypass the trial court review of his case, and the Indiana Supreme Court ultimately upheld that decision a decade ago. But Corcoran changed his mind in early 2005 and tried unsuccessfully to seek a trial court review. I don't know, maybe his symptoms were in remission, or maybe the medication or whatever treatment started to work, and he was like, what the fuck, maybe I should try and appeal this. I don't know. Changed his mind. He filed a habeas petition in federal court, but later changed his mind again, saying he never wanted to appeal his sentence. This man is ill. He's very sick. Against Corcoran's wishes, U.S. District Judge Alan Sharp in South Bend overturned his death sentence in April 2007 and found that the prosecutor inappropriately punished the man by pursuing the death penalty after he declined to accept a bench trial. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. That's what it sounds like to me. The district court granted the petition and ordered the state to re-sentence him within 120 days to anything but death. On appeal, because the state appealed, they wanted him dead so bad, the Seventh Circuit panel on December 31st, 2008 ruled that his rights were not violated and that he was competent to waive his post-conviction proceedings. The court reversed the judge granting the habeas relief and ruled that Indiana was at liberty to reinstate the death penalty. Yay! In recapping the appellate history, the Supreme Court of the United States order granted, I don't know how to say this word. I never know how to say it. I don't know. And held that the Seventh Circuit erred in disposing of his other claims without explanation of any sort. Basically, fucking clusterfuck. The Seventh Circuit should have permitted the district court to consider his unresolved challenges to his death sentence on remand, or should have itself explained why such consideration was unnecessary. In its brief in opposition, the state argues that his claims were waived and that they were in any event frivolous, so that a remand would be wasteful. Frivolous claims, appealing your death sentence. Interesting. Nothing in the Seventh Circuit's opinion, however, suggests that this was the basis for that court's order that the writ be denied. The case is now remanded to the Northern District for further proceedings. What do you think happened when it got remanded? I would get a bench trial and then an opening statement, tell my attorney that I object due to the court misleading me. I thought we were going to have a bench. You got me, DB. I thought we were going to have a bench press trial, not guilty if you bench more than the judge. Isn't it the lamest thing ever when people simp for the state? Of all the things you could simp for, the state, they don't need you or want you or like you. They don't. Anyway, Judge Gull sentenced him to death again. Marion County to hear capital case of Fort Wayne man. This is 2018. Jurors from Marion County will hear the case of a Fort Wayne man facing death penalty charges stemming from the death of four people. Attorney for... Oh, no, sorry. This is Marcus Dansby. I hate this case, too. This one's really, really bad. Judge Gull also unconstitutionally threw this guy's attorney off, too, that he wanted. My God, this woman. Attorneys for 23-year-old Marcus Dansby. 23, by the way, is very young. We can all agree, I think, on that. 23 is very fucking young. Attorneys for 23-year-old Marcus Dansby asked to move the case from Allen County, arguing that comments on social media and news coverage have biased potential local jurors. Hammy! Hey, Hammy, I miss you. I'm happy you're here. All our friends are here. JC the Music Man is here. All right. What up, sluts? Gull is the worst. 23 is very fucking young. Judge Gull issued an order Monday rejecting that request, but allowing them to be chosen from Marion County and taken to Allen County for the trial. This bitch loves a transport. This bitch loves a joyride, a juror transport. She fucking loves it. She's so fucking weird. She's so fucking weird. My God, she's weird. Yo, here she goes talking about diversity again. This is what during her interview for her at her second attempt for the Supreme Court of Indiana. Allen County Superior Judge Fran Gull said that the commission should consider a candidate's prior experience, background, talent, and ability to follow precedent. She believed that prior judicial experience was also important. The big elephant in the room you've all been talking about is diversity, Gull said. And while gender and racial diversity are important considerations, she said, I don't think those are the be-all and end-all of what you should be looking for. I did acknowledge Hammy. Hi, Hammy. I love you, Hammy. Welcome, Hammy. DB, do you have me, like, the live muted or what? What's up? What's up, Buttercup? She's consistently weird. I know. Okay, Gull. Yeah, diversity is important, but that's not the most important thing. Choose me. Pick me. Love me. No. No, thank you. No, thank you. Dixon noted that nearly all of Gull's experience was in criminal matters, but Gull noted that she's also brought a deep pool of administrative experience. She said she thought her criminal law experience would complement the current justices who have an array of civil, juvenile, and other practice experience. Gull stressed her experience. What video? What video, DB? Joel. Why do I keep calling her Hi, Joni. Nailed it. Gull. Judge Gull. Oh, Judge Gull. Joel. Okay. Gruel. Joel stressed that her experience with problem-solving courts. She stressed her experience with problem-solving courts and said that drug court and reentry court, among others, save time and money and produce better outcomes for some offenders. What kind of offenders, Gull? What kind of offenders? Describe them. Describe the kinds of offenders that come through your drug court that have an opportunity to be considered for drug court. Why don't you describe them? Describe their demographics. Describe them. Describe their racial makeup. Go ahead. We'll wait. She said that every county should make such services available, but funding and resources are an issue. When asked whether the state or federal constitutions were organic, living, breathing documents or matters of strict interpretation, Gull said, I think there's room for both. Oh, good. She did an it depends. Coward. It depends on the specific issue you'll be wrestling with and whether the framers faced those issues in their day. That's the worst answer I've ever fucking heard, bitch. The answer to that question is yes. They're living and breathing and they should be treated as such, you crazy fucking woman. It's absolutely imperative that if precedent's there, it's incumbent on the Supreme Court to uphold it, she said. But where matters such as technology are concerned, justices need to evolve and change with the times, says the bitch who won't stream a fucking trial or release a transcript. How many times have I called this woman a bitch in this live? Have I reached 100 yet? Hey, Hot Pocket. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just doing a dunk on Gull. Yeah, I highlighted this because it's hilarious to me. Terrifying, hilarious in a terrifying way. Here is her second. What the fuck is this? Why is that the picture that's coming up for this dementia ad? That's terrifying. Semifinalists. 6 women remain. Guess who didn't get picked? Gull. Fail. Hey, K-Dog, for the tongue billboard. I love that. This is definitely. Oh, I know who you are. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That is going towards our billboard of Doug Carter's tongue. Can't wait. Hi, Pocky. That's Gull's inner. Yeah, true. True. Oh my God. This is funny. This is from, I wish I had the date of this one. I have it somewhere. So Judge Gull is trying overseeing a case. Jurors saw this is for sure. Oh, a white van trauma. Jurors saw surveillance video, Kirkpatrick demonstrably showing Leonard. The prosecution is expected to rest its case. Oh, is this the something Hill case? The was a really big case. The people blew up their neighborhood. What the fuck is the case called in Indiana? Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Someone knows what I'm talking about. She was the judge overseeing part of that case. Anyway, she took Thursday off, though, to interview for an open state Supreme Court seat. So, cool. This is an appeal that didn't go anywhere because they agreed with Gull, as they do. Again, this is just Judge Gull failing. This is our friend Shay Hughes, who's awesome. His take on Gull when he found out she was appointed by the Supreme Court to oversee Rick Allen's case. He said, Allen County Judge Francis Gull has been appointed to hear Richard Allen's case. Judge Gull is a career judge, i.e. someone who has been a judge longer than a litigator, former prosecutor. Take it for what it's worth. He clocked her immediately. If only we'd have known and could have done something. Okay, this is, I'm going to go fast through this, but this one sucks a lot. I don't know if this is interesting to everybody, to all 87 of my favorite, closest friends. Good night, Dom. The Indiana Supreme Court will consider an appeal that challenges a ruling to remove a Fort Wayne defense attorney from a death penalty case. Allen Superior Judge Fran Gull removed defense attorney Nikos Nakos from Marcus Dansby's death penalty case in January, citing his lack of training in such cases. Nakos contended that he's qualified and has said the rules for training apply only to public defenders. He was privately retained. Norman Lefstein, Dean Emeritus at Indiana University, said that state rules for lawyers in death penalty cases apply only to appointed attorneys. However, he said a judge can decide whether to remove an attorney. Public defenders assigned to Dansby's case after the removal filed paperwork in February seeking an appeal. The attorneys also requested whether Gull violated Dansby's constitutional right to the attorney of his choice. This sounds familiar. It sounds like Groundhog Day. Gull certified the request Tuesday. It now goes to the state Supreme Court justices for consideration. Other actions in the case are halted until a decision is reached. Dansby maintains his innocence in the slayings and has refused to plead guilty in exchange for sentence of life without parole. Well, if you're innocent, why the fuck would you? Hey, post-punk! I didn't know this was tonight. I was washing my hair. I didn't give anybody a heads up. I just did it. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here. I hope your hair feels nice and clean and good. One of Allen County's biggest criminal cases sees a big change. Lead lawyer Nikos Nakos was removed from representing the accused murderer. Judge Gull cited his lack of experience and readiness to handle the complex tasks. This woman has a problem. Oh yeah, this is from December. Judge Gull admits that the gag order was in response to the press release issued by Allen's attorneys. She literally admits this is tit for tat. This is retaliation because I didn't like your press release. Here's a quote from Gull from June 2023 after the safekeeping hearing. Judge Gull told Allen's defense that it sounded like they just wanted him moved out of Westville Correctional Facility where he was being tortured to be convenient to them. She stated the attorneys knew that he was in Westville when they were appointed the case and agreed to hear it, to take it on. You knew that he was in Westville? Sounds like you just want to move him because it's inconvenient. That and all the other fucking reasons. She said this on the record, by the way. It's in the transcript. On the record. Jim Merritt comes in. Nobody fucking asked him to opine, but he did. Judge Gull's an outstanding jurist. Shut the fuck up, Jim. State simper. Nobody asked you, Jim. Fuck out of here. I guess that's it. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. I don't know what I did, though. Where'd you go, Jim? You blew up my shit. Oh, yeah. Here's another great take by Judge Gull. Allen's defense attorneys asked the judge to compare his treatment to defendants in local jails not previously convicted of a crime. not to the Westville inmates in his cell block who are felons already convicted of heinous offenses. That request obviously did not sway Judge Gull. The judge found the evidence showed Allen is actually being treated more favorably than other inmates at the state prison, despite his attorney's claims. He's being treated more favorably with a black fucking hood over his head as he gets extracted from his cell naked against his will for no fucking reason, just to torment him. And as they inject him with Haldol and drag him through the fucking hallways of the prison naked for no reason, he's being treated a lot better than other people who are, she shouldn't be making that comparison, but Special Judge Fran Gull said she would decide the matter in due haste after she listened to arguments from attorneys for 50-year-old Richard Allen about unsealing the PCA in due haste. 16, this was her second attempt, I think. So let's see. She tried in 2012, 2016, and 2022. Did y'all know that her most recent attempt to, her most recent application to the Indiana Supreme Court was in December 2022. Interesting. The Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council. Let me read that again. The Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council, IPAC, summer kickoff in Fort Wayne begins. Welcome remarks kick off our week from IPAC's Executive Director Chris Naylor and the Honorable Judge Fran Gull of Allen County. Why would a judge be giving opening remarks at the Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council conference? Because she's actually a prosecutor. She's an arm of the state. Prosecutors love Judge Gull, if you didn't know. Why wouldn't they? There she is in all her fucking glory. What is she, 8 feet tall? How tall is this woman? Judge Gull orders the Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen to remain in state prison ahead of trial, stating that he's being treated more favorably than other inmates housed at the Westville Correctional Facility. That decision's going to haunt her bad, by the way. Mark my words, y'all. Judge Gull this little dog, y'all. Judge Gull's failure to move Rick Allen out of the Department of Correction twice will come back to haunt her in a very unfortunate and uncomfortable way for her. It 100% will. 100%. And she knows it. She knows it. Allen County Judge Fran Gull received the Woman in American History Award from the Mary Penrose Wayne chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Look how happy she is. Hey, look at me. Heritage and stuff. Okay, Fran. For the first time ever, cameras were allowed in the Allen County Superior Courtroom today as part of the Indiana Court's pilot project. Cameras will be permitted in certain proceedings in front of Judge Gull for the next 4 months. Wow, she's a pioneer. She's a pioneer, or is she a colonizer? Allen Superior Court Judge Fran Gull swore in 6 new members of the Parkview Health Police Department. Because of course she did. Indiana Supreme Court decides that this defendant was denied a fair trial. They ordered a new trial in a child molestation case. A man convicted of molestation has secured a new trial after the Indiana Supreme Court concluded that he was wrongly denied a continuance to review new evidence submitted 1 day before trial. So basically, the state of Indiana said, here's brand new evidence the day before this trial begins. And the defense was like, whoa, pause, not in line with discovery rules, not fair. We need more time to review this evidence. And Judge Gull said, you'll be fine. You got 20 hours. You'll be fine. You better get to reading. Never mind the fact that it took her 13 months to read the 136-page Franks memo. She's like, a day before trial? Oh, it's fine. Y'all are complaining. It's about convenience. In a letter imposing discovery conditions provided by the prosecutor, Ramirez was informed that any police reports, CDs, DVDs, witness lists, medical reports, etc., may not be copied, reproduced, or provided to anyone, including the defendant. Defense counsel rejected those conditions, responded that it would proceed with the discovery as set forth under applicable case law and rules of trial procedure. The prosecutor subsequently denied to provide a copy of the victim's interview. Okay. During a motion to compel hearing prompted by defense counsel, who argued it was extremely burdensome to continually return to the prosecutor's office to review the interview, Allen Superior Court Judge Fran Gull ruled that Ramirez was not entitled to a copy, and she issued a protective order prohibiting him from obtaining one. Why, y'all? Because she is an arm of the state, because she exists for one purpose and one purpose only, to help the state win and get convictions. Period. That is Judge Gull's one and only, albeit very important purpose. It's her sole purpose in existing as a judge in Indiana. And the Supreme Court knows that. They know her purpose. They don't want her sitting next to them on the Supreme Court bench. She's a weirdo. They're like, ew, you can't sit with us, but we will appoint you to cases that need convictions. That's her job, and she knows what her job is. She does it very well. She convicts motherfuckers for the state. The day before his jury trial, the prosecutor delved into the facts of the case with the victim and her mother for the first time. After that conversation, the prosecutor sent the defense counsel an email detailing the discussions that included several new allegations. Oh, like brand new charges, almost brand new allegations, brand new evidence and allegations and information that are going to come up for the very first time at the trial. I don't know, like a van or something. What a fucking joke this place is. If anyone lives in Indiana, I don't know, run, leave, hide. Ramirez counsel, within 4 hours of receiving the new information, filed a motion requesting in part that the court grant a continuance because the new allegations materially changed the theory of defense and counsel needed time to complete additional discovery. The defense's request was denied on the basis of untimeliness. They filed it in 4 hours. They filed it 4 hours after the state disclosed these new facts. They filed this thing in 4 hours, and Judge Gull said it was untimely. They didn't ask for a continuance soon enough, even though they just got it. Okay, Fran. Okay, Fran. As my lovely, beautiful, strong, amazing, intelligent, fierce friend woman doing a Krebin would say, go the fuck to the hospital and get your goddamn head examined. Please. Here she is, being a cop with her little pilgrim shoes, swearing in a bunch of officers. Because, at the end of the day, after all, what is Judge Gull, everybody? She's a fucking cop. She's a cop in a black outfit and funny shoes. I guess that's the, no, that's not the end. I fucked up again. Oh, yeah. I just want to let the record show I've been dunking on this woman forever. Just saying. Indiana, where the evidence is totally made up and innocence doesn't matter. Look at that face. Look at her face. Go to the fucking hospital and get your goddamn brain examined. I'm gonna play that clip in a minute. Honorable Gull, where even gals can be good old boys. This was a fun campaign I did. I'm gonna reshare these. She doesn't like being called a racist, but she's interested in ethno-nationalism or white nativism. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. How is she not embarrassed? I don't think she has. Oh no, is DB in here? Post-punk, you're not wrong. This is a criticism that my trolls say about me all the time. I don't have an upper lip, they say. This is a good billboard material, right? I think this should be our billboard campaign or something similar. When shooting for the Supreme Court, the fourth time's the charm. Where the evidence is totally made up and even gals can be good old boys. Oh, this was fun too. This was an unraveling thingy we did. 14 filings since September 14th, and Gull be like, I can see your upper lip and I'm on mobile. Thanks, friend. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's true. You need to update this with a face tap. Here she is looking mad AF. Man, y'all, I don't fucking know. It was crazy. She crazy. And not in that legitimately mentally ill way, because if that were true, then we would be gracious with her. She's not mentally ill. She's just evil. So it is our First Amendment right to dunk a garbage Gull. You're not wrong. My smartphone ran out of battery at the laundromat. I ran home to hang up my sweaters. Hopefully y'all are here when I get back. I'll be here. My Odin sword hangs between my legs. I love that. We love that for you, Banter Lion. We're really proud of you. It's really exciting. I learned I have hooded eyes. I thought they were supposed to be. Love it. Love it. What we got going on in here? Anything new? Some Gull merch. The only Gulls I fuck with are seagulls. $86.92. I think we have a Black Friday sale coming up, but I don't know because DB Baby Girl's not here, so who knows? I think I need to fire him. The Riddler, $84.25. The Realistic, $99.99. The Cleveland Recycling, we could go all day. Emergency Management. Gaze over Gulls. Gaze for RA pin. Do a purchase. We still need to make these. These are awesome. Here is the Steve Mullen Discovery. His restoration equipment for the Lost Discovery. $139.97, y'all. Mullen shirt. Mullen cleanup services. Price your soul. Garbage man cleaning jumpsuit. Man. Hammy's in here, right? I just understood the finger trap joke. Good night, Hammy. Love you. Bye. I'm going to look into the arsons. Yes. That's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. There's our boy, Jerome. There's our very scientific bridge guy analysis. This is DB's fundraiser for his strep throat near-death experience. There's Doug Carter doing a fill in the blank. Bridge guy could be anywhere. Holman's lying with a ham sandwich conveniently labeled ham. There's Mullen being a geek squad. There's me and Krebin. There's Brad Rosie and his friend hiking with me right there in his backpack going for a ride. This was my hierarchy of evil bracket. What else we got?
Subpoena Dukas take him.
That's fucking illegal.
Hey, Thomas Scott, so good to see you. I hope you've been doing good.
I want to give you a hug. Are you fucking insane, dude? This is the whole fucking shit. You don't know fucking anything. You're a fucking idiot, dude.
We love y'all.
But the dude has coke dealer hair.
But the dude has coke dealer hair.
But the dude has coke dealer hair.
Okay, bitch. I have to take Boone out really quick, y'all. Just for a pee. I'm gonna put up my banner. And I'll BRB. Maybe like 4 minutes. Oh, probably like 5 minutes or 6, because it does take me a little bit of an extra minute to hobble out and come back. So give me 6 minutes. I'll be right back. What up, y'all? We're back. It is very cold outside. Whew. Thomas Scott is recovering from vacation, going to bed. Good night, Thomas Scott. You're probably already in bed. That was 10 minutes ago. Snow. Snow, snow. I hear Indiana got snow. It rained in Oregon today. Squatty potty nincompoops. I'll be back. Hope you're still here when I get back from the mat. We are here. I feel like school doesn't get canceled for kids as often anymore. Hi. Hey, some guy with cancer's in the 70s here. That's nice. Very nice. That was fast, I know. We've been like picking up speed in general, trying to do a little punctual, do a little bit of timeliness here and there. You know. This is a fact. They tried to kill me 8 times. Didn't work. I only come back more powerful. And more bitter. Since I've got time and 79 people listening, I want to talk about safekeeping. Because I can. Because I have a feeling it's going to come up again very soon. Where the motherfuck is the thing I was looking for? Who knows? Who really knows? Am I in the right? Yes, I am in the right folder. No, I'm not in the right folder. That's what you get for telling people I like birds. But being drowned 8 times? You do like birds, DB. Sorry. I'm happy with 78 people. I'll take 79 people. I'll take 9 people. Safekeeping. Where the fuck is this fucking thing? Fuck. Oh, you want to hear something funny? One time, I sent DB a link to like a private, like a private, I don't know what it's called. It's like almost like it like destroys upon reading. So I imagine a lot of people use it to send like whatever. I just sent him a link with no description, a Google Drive link that he had to click on. And when he clicked on it, he was very quickly presented with this. Oh. Anyway, back to what I was looking for. Where the fuck? Why do I have a PDF called Is This Racist? Oh, this is Pat Westfall's interview. Answer, yes. Yes, very much. Oh, here we go. Straight to Griffin. The link to Griffin. She want to feed me change soup. Hey, Steve Johnson, you're the guy I told to bend over, right? Welcome. I'm glad you could make it. What's change soup? I do like soup. Courtney and I are going to do a soup tour across the country one day. Yeah, I don't know when, but one day. All right. Get your shit together, Angela. Is this it? Oh my God, this is it. No, it's not. Fuck. Oh, I can search. Here it is. That is nightmare fuel. Oh my God, it gets cold there post-punk. My goodness. Very chilly. I want a bird that can talk. DB has a talking bird. He trained it. Bum, 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 bum. Wait till I get my money right. Where the fuck is this fucking thing I'm trying to find? I'm pretty sure it's at the end. It is at the end. Wait till I get my money right. Whoa. All right. Let's fucking go. Hey, question. Is Nick McClellan the biggest brown-nosing bitch on the planet? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I think I read this recently, but we're going to read it again. Fuck, I forgot to get Kleenex. I did put slippers on, though. I just don't have Kleenex. 1 for yes. Figures. Figures. Statist. Statist. Like a pro-state person, a statist? Yeah. I saw a post where someone's parrot was at an intersection telling everyone to fuck off. I think that was DB's parrot got out. 3, I forgot the question. Like hot guys with bad personalities, too. Okay. Same. 100, Steve. Blink twice if you are okay, Steve. 100. Oh, you're doing the number game with us? Yes, DB's parrot got out. It was cussing everybody out at the intersection. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. All right. This is a safekeeping hearing. This is my white whale. I want to put something on the record. Oops. I don't know what I just said. So sometimes I put stuff in notes apps. And I send them later at more appropriate hours of the day, etc. Here's my thoughts on how this should go. Coming from not a lawyer, certainly not an appellate lawyer, here's what I think about what needs to happen in Rick's case. I said they must attack safekeeping. No one here is hearing this for the first time. This is my autism hyperfixation for the last year. Without safekeeping, the safekeeping order putting Rick in DOC in November 2022. Without that, there are no confessions. They kept him from his attorneys. They kept him from water. They kept him from medical attention. All of that was safekeeping. Without safekeeping, none of that exists. It's never happened before in the history of Indiana. There's never been a case, an instance. I have to sneeze. Oh. Guess not. There's never been an instance in the state of Indiana that's comparable to this. There's never been a pretrial defendant with no violent history, with no threats, who's not like affiliated with dangerous groups or like nothing like that. There's never been a case in Indiana or that I could find nationally in the United States where a pretrial defendant who's unrepresented, doesn't have an attorney, is unrepresented, is not afforded any kind of a hearing or due process of any kind, is disappeared into the Department of Correction in solitary confinement in maximum security, state facility. Actually, is it maximum security? I don't know, but his unit certainly. Hey. Hold on, y'all. The baby wanted his blanket on his bed adjusted, so we had to do that. Forgive me. It's never happened before. There's no precedent. There's no comparable case law or established nothing, because it's never happened before. Much like everything else in this case, unprecedented, okay? Just keep that in mind. So when Judge Gull says, you didn't give me any Indiana law, you didn't give me any Indiana law, Mr. Rosie, you didn't cite any Indiana law, you just gave me federal law. Rosie's like, I looked for Indiana law, Your Honor. There ain't nothing. Sir. Can you... I wish I could show y'all what's happening right now. Hey, lay down. Lay down. Oh. Boone is 12, but he's in his terrible twos forever. So, like, he's just, like, the best and the sweetest. He will never die because I can't conceptualize a life where he's dead. So he's just never going to die. It's fine. But he's also bad. He's bad. Anyway, never happened. Entirely unprecedented. Not harmless error. Harmful error. He's 12. Well, he's 11. He's 11. He's an 11-year-old baby. I said, I really hope they get transcripts of the August 1st, 2024 hearing where Judge Gull officially vacates the safekeeping order, because during that hearing, she literally says something to the effect of, quote, do I even have the authority to vacate a safekeeping order? That comment was made in August 2024. Question, do I even have the authority to vacate a safekeeping order? Well, bitch, that really feels like a question you should ask yourself before you denied a request to modify safekeeping once in April 2023 and again in June 2023. You probably should have asked yourself if you had the authority to vacate safekeeping before you moved on it twice a year beforehand. She issues 2 separate orders on safekeeping, both keeping Rick in the Department of Indiana, in the Indiana Department of Correction, and then admits over a year later that she didn't even know if she had the authority to do so. Wow. Maybe irrelevant and immaterial in any other situation, except the entirety of the evidence that convicted Rick Allen was obtained through safekeeping after the defense attorneys filed their emergency, hey, Seven Landscape, good to see you, their emergency motion to modify it. The emergency motion that Gull ignored and then scheduled a hearing on 60 plus days, no, May, June, 60 plus days out. So had she just taken what they said at face value and given the defendant the benefit of the doubt and done the safe thing and just moved him to another facility, or at least done some kind of further due diligence or investigation, there would be no confessions. There would be no grave disability because Rick would have gotten the treatment and care that he needed before he deteriorated to the point of grave disability. Judge Gull could be in deep fucking shit for her indifference, ex parte communication that she very obviously had between DOC and the prosecutor. I don't know if the defense was privy to it, but I know that on April 14th, 2023, some major fucking shit happened because on that one day, Nick McClelland somehow, in the span, now we know how, is Monica Walla, Clarice Starling herself, clearly made somebody aware of something that she was legally prohibited from making them aware of. Rick had a very private hearing with 3 DOC medical professionals, 2 psychologists and a psychiatrist, in April 2023 to determine whether or not he needed to be involuntarily medicated. By both DOC policy and Indiana code, Rick's attorneys should have been made aware of that and been given the opportunity to be present for it. I don't think they even fucking knew it was happening. And this is in spite of the fact that the prosecutor knew that it was happening because he filed a motion on the day of the hearing saying the state has been made aware of a hearing on involuntary medication and appropriateness of setting. That is not discoverable information. Not only is that HIPAA protected information, but how the fuck did the prosecutor over 100 miles away in under 24 hours be made aware of this very, very, very highly secretive, protected involuntary medication hearing that Rick's own attorneys didn't even know about? And then Nick files a motion publicly. Hello, monster. What's wrong? What's wrong? He's got his worried face on. Oh, you want to come sit with me? Filed a public motion. Come here, old man. What do you need? Are you just bored? Are you sore? This is the baby, by the way. This is the baby of the house. He gets a haircut soon. I don't know what he wants. Probably just attention. This is Boone. So that happens on the so that happens on the 14th. The prosecutor files a motion on the 14th. Rick has a hearing of some kind on the 14th. They decide to involuntarily medicate him while also deciding that even though DOC policy requires them to remove Rick from solitary confinement, they decided without consulting anybody, without checking or making a phone call. Look at his hair. He looks like a crazy guy. He's crazy. Without doing any kind of due diligence or investigating at all, they just were like, you know what? We think safekeeping probably, you're chunky. Safekeeping probably trumps DOC's own policies. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. I'm going to give him a bone. He wanted to go to bed. Cannot blame him. I was gonna say. Yeah, a lot of fuckery happened on the 14th, and it appears that a lot of it was ex parte, because not only did, oh my God. Not only did the hearing occur, Nick McClelland filed a motion about the hearing, and Judge Gull literally issued an order on the same day about the hearing. How does she know? How does she know? How did all these things happen so close together? And in her order, she basically is like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it up to the DOC. The DOC doctors. How did you know that he was seeing DOC doctors that day? Did Nick McClelland tell you while he was on your lap? I said, in my opinion, the timeline of all of this, the timeline of safekeeping and the ex parte motions and the hearings and everything, not harmless. Gull had a duty to remove Rick from safekeeping as soon as she was made aware of the issues that the defense raised on April 5th, 2023. If she had done so right away, there'd be no confessions. There'd be no van confessions, psychotic confessions, lucid confessions, confessions to Walla. There would be no confessions, period. Gull ordered that Rick remain in the Department of Correction despite knowing that it was violative of IDOC's own policies regarding severely mentally ill prisoners, and also violative of the Constitution, because at the safekeeping hearing, Brad Rosie made it very, very clear that Rick was never afforded a hearing, ever. And they knew that he was unrepresented, and they needed him to be unrepresented because they really needed him to be in the custody of the Department of Correction. They thought he was going to plead. That'd be easy. It wasn't easy. I mean, Gull made it easy for them. She helped them convict him. But had she just vacated the safekeeping order as she should have, or at least ordered him removed from Westville to an appropriate DOC facility, like Newcastle. Because guess what fucking Newcastle has? The capacity to treat, it can treat people who need a higher level of care. It has the capacity to treat seriously mentally ill, or at least house. I don't think that the DOC can adequately treat anybody. Yes, this is absolutely true. He did not have attorneys, and he had asked for them days prior. He wrote that letter on October 31st. It's stamped in Indianapolis on November 1st. Then Sheriff Lesenby files his motion, even though it was written by Judge Diener, files his safekeeping motion on the 2nd, or maybe it was on the 3rd. And Diener orders him into safekeeping on the 3rd. 3 days after he tried to mail a letter throwing himself at the mercy of the court, requesting counsel. He made it very clear in writing that he needed counsel. And they blocked his mail. They put a federal mail stop on his mail, which is why his letter never made it to the Carroll County Court for a week. It got sent right back to White County, and Rick was no longer there. Oops. How did it get to Carroll County? I have no idea. I don't know. But it got there on the 9th. Why and who and how did they put a mail stop on his mail? And who would have had the forethought and the pull to do that? Probably the same person that has the pull and the forethought and the authority to do a warrantless ping across state lines on an independent reporter and activist's cell phone. Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure it's a coincidence. All of his confessions are fruit of the poisonous tree. The poisonous tree is safekeeping. If the confessions were not admitted, Rick would be home. Period. Not only that, if Rick was moved out of DOC when it was first brought to Gull's attention that very serious, grave, spectacularly alarming and unconstitutional issues were occurring in DOC with him, if she had just moved him, as she was able to do, this case probably would have gone to trial when it was supposed to. They wouldn't have had to spend a fucking year fighting with DOC and the state trying to keep their client alive. Maybe. Indiana Department of Correction and the state and Judge Gull displayed more knowing and intentional disregard and negligence and bias regarding a seriously mentally ill, legally innocent man. Like, y'all, I know that people here understand, but I don't think the world, like the public understands the absolute magnitude of what has occurred here. Because they have taken a seriously mentally ill pretrial defendant. Like, this doesn't even fly for convicted felons. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to keep people in solitary confinement for 13 months. They can't even do that in Iranian prisons. The UN gets fucking involved. Okay? We don't torture people in America. Allegedly, we don't. Supposedly, we don't. 13 months. Okay? I have been looking for months for any kind of comparable case. I can't find one. I know Kat you've sent me some awesome shit. I can't find anything comparable to this. It's not happened before. I don't know why they haven't gotten like federal, like ADA or disability lawyers involved. They need to, in my opinion. I don't know like what that would even look like because Rick's been convicted. You know how much harder this fight is now? When someone's convicted? If we thought that he was disappeared into the system before trial when he was in DOC, this is bad. He's been convicted. It is going to be really, 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 really fucking hard to undo the illegal, unconstitutional, criminal shit that the state of Indiana has done. I think a big part of the problem is that people still don't know the extent of this. And the reason that people don't know the extent of this is because Judge Gull has buried the truth at every turn. She's going to continue to do so. If this trial had been streamed and broadcast in the way that Karen Reed's case was, Rick would not have been convicted. The public would not stand for that. If the public was privy to what occurred in this trial, Rick would be home because the public would not stand for it. The state wouldn't get away with it. The fucking federal entities that don't give a shit about anything. So for appellate purposes, though, like this is the problem with this case. Gull will not appoint the attorneys that Rick's team probably want him to have. Of course she won't. They will find a way to pay for whatever. We'll find a way. We've done it before. But he really needs... This is so much worse and so much bigger than... And I say just due process, because due process is the most important thing in it for a pretrial defendant. But it goes so much far, like, beyond due process violations. This is medical... They're committing, like, medical torture. This is, like, Dr. Mengele shit, what they were doing to him. Doing medical exams on a catatonic pretrial defendant? Put him back in his fucking cell and let him just sleep. Like, what are we doing? This is... They tortured him. Doctors. Marmon tortured him. I don't know how to do this, or if it's even possible for judges, but they need to subpoena or request Gull, McClelland, Walla, and the warden's communications. All four. These are all. I don't know about Walla. She's not a public. Well, she works for the DOC, but she's private contract. Okay, so at least Gull, McClelland, and the warden. They all work for y'all. In Indiana, y'all pay their salary. Those are email addresses .gov, except Cleveland, but it's still maybe he thinks that he could get away with it, but he can't. Y'all need to FOIA, just fucking FOIA the shit out of that shit, because they need to figure out what the fuck happened in throughout the case. There has been so much. I promise, there's been so much ex parte communication. We already know of at least twice. April, with the hearing and the safekeeping and all that, the hearing and the Gull's order on safekeeping first in 2023. But let's not forget that in June, before the safekeeping, yes, and this is not, I'm just gonna be honest, not my strong suit. Like, I can mobilize the fuck out of people, but like I've done like 2 FOIAs in my life. They're not hard, but they're specific and they're, labor intensive if you want to do them right. If there's anybody in here who loves to FOIA or is like detail oriented, like let's get a little posse together, because we really need to. And I'm sure that they will all be denied. It doesn't matter. We still need to request them. Okay, so that was the first ex parte communication. But let's not forget that in June 2023, on the 14th of June, the day before the safekeeping hearing, so the defense was calling Robert Baston, who was a inmate at Westville, who basically was a whistleblower. He wrote 2 letters to the court. Gull hid them both for months, but the defense was calling him as their main witness because he had a front row seat. He was in the same pod, like right across from Rick, front row seat to everything that they were doing to him. And he wrote a letter basically outlining all of it. And the defense was transporting him from Westville to Carroll County for this hearing, the safekeeping hearing, so that he could testify to what he saw and what he observed and what he knew was happening. So what does Gull do? I don't know if we remember this, the ding dong motion that not everybody, but that certain people clowned on the defense for. They were going to try and call Gull as a witness to get her, not just to get her off the case, but they were going to call Gull as a witness because it became very apparent that somehow Judge Gull not only interfered with transporting and getting the witness to the hearing for the defendant, she literally obstructed it. Because when Baston apparently said, "I'm not going," he was probably threatened. He was probably, they probably retaliated. We know how they do there. We know how the fuck they do. For whatever reason, he was being difficult, and DOC told the sheriff or the sheriff deputy, I don't remember which deputy it was. If anyone remembers, I almost want to say John Cola, but it can't be. It can't be. It might have been, but I don't think it was. They're like, "Oh, we can't get him out of the cell." And the sheriff's like, "No worries. Let me call Lori Stasek, the Carroll County jail commander, and see what she says we should do." And then they fucking call. Who does she call next? She calls somebody. Somehow Judge Gull gets on the horn and is like, "Just leave him. You don't need to transport him. Stand down." How many other subpoenaed witnesses do you think get that courtesy if they don't want to come? Judges are just like, can't make him come. You literally can. He's a convicted felon in state custody. You can literally extract him from his cell like you did to Rick countless times for no fucking reason. But she didn't. She's like, "Don't bother yourself. Don't worry about it." Do you know when she told the defense that their key witness would not be attending and testifying at the safekeeping hearing? The day of the safekeeping hearing at the courthouse, minutes before. And then she lied and she said, "I never said that. The sheriff said it." Either the sheriff is lying and the warden, or the judge is lying. But either way, all you motherfuckers are lying. So she obstructed and ex parte'd and all of that shit at least twice that we have documentation of. That right there, if that's not enough of an argument for judicial bias, we might as well just fucking eradicate the requirement of an impartial judge. Why do we even have it? Because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter how much bias you prove. It doesn't. The Supreme Court appointed Judge Gull to convict Richard Allen. Y'all hear that? Listen again. The Supreme Court of Indiana appointed Judge Gull with the sole purpose of convicting Richard Allen. Okay? They knew that he would be convicted. They needed him to be convicted. There was never going to be a world or a scenario in which Richard Allen was acquitted of this crime. Never. They tried to kill him first. When that didn't work, they tried to get his attorneys thrown off and disbarred and ruin their life. That didn't work either. So, all I know is that 12 jurors suspended logic and reason and ethics and morals and turned a blind eye to the truth and convicted a man with zero evidence against him. I don't know how that happened. How do you get 12 people to do that? How do 12 people sit in a room together and decide to just not see the truth in front of them? We've talked about this before. If I were a juror and I was leaning guilty, I could probably be swayed to change my vote to not guilty. I could probably be open to seeing doubt, right? If I believed that a defendant was not guilty, and 11 of my juror peers sat around a table and berated me and tried to talk some reason into me and get me to change my vote from not guilty to guilty, they would have to literally kill me to get me to change my vote. Because I'm not going to convict a person that I'm going to have no part in convicting a person that I believe is not guilty. So how is it that after 18 hours of deliberation, there were obviously holdouts, at least one. There was at least one holdout. So what the fuck happened? Why was there only one holdout if there was? Maybe there were more. But how in 18 hours do you convict an innocent man with no evidence? And even if they had some evidence, the reasonable doubt in this case, it was astronomical. Astronomical. And one of the things that I like, I think people have a lot of, this trial left so much to be desired, not just because it wasn't broadcast, but because of how handcuffed the defense was in this case. They were literally prevented from defending their client. So they weren't actually able to do anything. So all of the evidence and arguments that everyone is saying that they should have made, all of the things that should have been said in closing, all of the things that should have been presented and witnesses that should have been called, sure. In what world? How much favor would they have lost? They don't have any left with the judge, but how much favor would they have lost with the jury? Like, you know, every time Judge Gull like embarrasses them or humiliates them or denies them, sustains a state objection or overrules a defense objection. Like every time she does that, the jury is not impervious to, implicit bias, at least. Like there's only so much you can try that you know is going to get denied. You cross the threshold at some point of just like making things worse. So I think they just did their best with what they had. I thought that Rosie's closing was excellent. The problem was that he was talking about corruption to a bunch of simps for the state. They have no capacity to put themselves in the shoes of an innocent person that's been charged with a heinous crime because they think it's impossible. You know who else thought it was impossible? Rick Allen. He literally was like, you will not get away with this. I'm innocent. Go ahead. Do whatever you got to do. Look for whatever you want to look for. You're not going to find shit. You're not going to find shit. Go ahead. He wasn't worried because this shit doesn't happen. So, of course, a reasonable, normal person is not going to believe that it could happen. Once he was charged, it was over. It was over. Once he was disappeared and put into DOC, then it was really over. And once Gull prohibited the defense from presenting any third-party evidence, and remember, third-party evidence isn't saying this person absolutely committed this crime at all, because they could have probably put on a dozen third-party suspect suspects, like presented a dozen of them. Every single one of them would have had less reasonable doubt and more evidence against them, incriminating them, than Rick Allen. That is why the jury needed to see that and know that. Why him? Why this man in front of us as jurors? Why him and not him, or him, or him, or him, or him? Judge Gull and the Supreme Court carried Nick McClellan and the state across the finish line. And Rick was always going to be convicted for this. And we got trolls coming in, not tonight, but we've had people come in and talking about how he's going to confess at sentencing. Maybe he does. Because remember, he's still in the custody of the state. And they still have an infinite, like, his appeals will persist until he's exonerated. And I think the state knows that. So it would still behoove them to solidify their conviction somehow. I don't know what they'll try. We've all seen what they'll try. I mean, we've seen the lengths they'll fucking go to. There is no bottom to the depravity of these people. There's not. And I don't believe in, like, I don't like to use, like, the word evil when it comes to, like, there's, like, competing interests, and then there's the opposite of competing interests. I can't think of the word. I'm tired. But it's, like, complementary interests or something. Like, there's so many different interests in this case that so many people benefited from and were protected from consequence by this arrest and conviction. I think so, Judge Jessica. Yeah, this is my worry too. By the way, Rick is still not well. So people who are giving the defense shit for not putting him or Kathy on the stand, just think about that for a second. You really think that so like his brain has undergone organic changes. When you look at somebody's brain after 13 months of solitary confinement, and you look at somebody's brain after a legitimate TBI, a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, the structure, the structural makeup of the... Jake, are you Jesse's brother? Hi, Jake. Can everyone say hi to Jake Snyder? So, by the way, if you've not seen the Jesse Snyder video, please watch it. Jake, I'm really happy you're here. I'm really sorry about your brother, what happened to him. Jake says, Carroll County is a bunch of corrupt clowns. I'm Jesse's brother. I sat in the courtroom and witnessed police lie on the stand. The judge had to remind them that they were under oath. And Jesse did nothing wrong. He didn't deserve it. And it sucks. And it shouldn't have happened. And the same people that did it then to Jesse are still doing it. And at what point is something going to happen? Like, at what point is something or someone going to intervene? We're really happy you're here, Jake. We think about your brother a lot. I'm sorry for your loss. We think about your mom a lot. And it's not okay. It shouldn't happen. And, yeah, I don't know. But I'm glad that people like you, Jake, and Corey Rowe exist to keep the story alive, the truth alive, and to keep your brother's memory alive. And we will do our best to do the same. And I made a promise to Corey, and I'll make the same promise to you. I'm not going to stop until the fuckers are caught. We're going to take them down, and we'll keep going until we do. Whatever that looks like. Promise. Hey, Christine, good to see you. I'm praying powerful people start to give a damn. Me too. Do you know why his property is no longer listed? Did the state seize it? I'm sorry, Indy. I'm so behind in the chat. Who's specifically? Hey, Jacob. Jacob. I love that name. Yeah, she did, didn't she? So, like I said, pretty much everything. Oh, and this is another, this is a personal opinion, and it's not necessarily the right one. It could be a bad one, but it's an emotional opinion of mine. So I am worried that because the judge has hamstrung the defense, Jake, you are welcome here anytime. And if you ever want to like talk about Jesse or anything, you have a community here of crazy diehard advocates for justice and for your brother. And you have family here. And if you ever want to come, you are welcome here always. So I don't know where my link is, but I'm going to put it. I'm going to try to send you a link, Jacob, so that if you ever want to get in touch with me, you can, and you're under no obligation to, by the way. But I just want you to know that you're welcome here always. Always, always. Oh, fucker. Shit. Always do that. What is my stupid login? Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. If you can save that link, Jacob, if you ever want to get in touch, you can get in touch with me there. All right. Last thing I was going to say. Oh, this is my maybe unpopular, maybe unfair opinion, but you know, the suspense is killing y'all. I hear Boone though, and I don't know what he's doing. I hear him. I'm going to end this live really soon because he's being absolute terrorist. But my concern, my fear is that because of how hamstrung and handicapped the defense was, the reality is, short of solving the crime themselves, the chances of freeing Rick felt slim, and that's fair. The problem, my worry, is that going through and trying to solve the crime with new evidence and new discovery is not going to work because of how the investigation occurred, how much evidence was deleted, lost, or never collected, and the fact that this case is still in the jurisdiction under the control of the state of Indiana. The defense is never, as it stands right now, it doesn't matter what evidence they come up with. It does not matter what new evidence they find. Solving this, if they're never going to solve it. And to me, that feels like chasing our tails. That's my fear. The investigation was too chaotic. It was too convoluted. I'm not saying that anyone should stop looking for new evidence. But in my opinion, because of how the investigation was conducted, there's so much room for like plausible deniability and feigning, good faith on behalf of the state and the investigation, that the likelihood of any kind of like reversible issue regarding evidence, I just don't feel good about it. However, I think, in my opinion, they need to attack everything that occurred from the day that Rick was arrested forward. Because had the state been abiding by law and the rules that they're supposed to abide by, if Rick were arrested and just held in county jail like he should have been, the defense would have won their case. It would have been over. It would have been open and shut. And it's just like so obvious. And the safekeeping order was literally just like the mechanism for the state to obtain all of their evidence illegally, unconstitutionally. every confession, every word out of Rick's mouth from the moment that they labeled him a safekeeper without lawyers, without a hearing, everything that occurred thereafter is fruit of the poisonous tree. It feels very black and white. You just need to stop trying to be investigators and just be lawyers and argue the law, because it's there. These are actually pretty egregious constitutional violations. And I'm not trying to like mansplain law to lawyers because I'm not a lawyer, but like, I just feel like these are such glaring, insane issues that they need to stop trying to solve this and investigate it. Not because they can't, not because they're not capable, but because they'll never be able to. It's impossible right now. And instead of that, focus on the fucking law, the legal arguments. New evidence is not, it's just like new evidence. It's like all there is evidence that wasn't presented. All there is in this case is evidence, and none of it applies to Rick. It didn't make a difference the first go around. It's not going to make a difference this time. They need to attack the safekeeping. They need to attack everything that occurred that was unconstitutional from the moment that they interviewed him, because everything that's occurred since then has been unconstitutional. We don't do this here. Dr. Walla needs to be probably arrested, but like, I'm not one to be like, arrest her. No, but she needs to be investigated, and she is not a credible witness, and nothing that comes out of her mouth or is put on paper by her or that she testifies to is credible in any way at all. And the fact that Judge Gull wouldn't even hear or listen to or consider the very obvious evidence that Dr. Walla communicated with Gray Hughes and Fig Solves months and months and months and months before the trial, months and months and months before the hearings, and weeks before Nick McClellan legally obtained access to Rick's medical information, that information had already been shared widely by Dr. Walla. That's a fucking problem. Boone's digging through the trash, y'all. My fear is that we've lost the needle in the haystack, just as the state intended, and it has nothing to do with the competency, quality, integrity, effort, stamina, nothing. Andy and Brad and Jennifer are remarkable. And if Rick had other attorneys, I don't even know if he'd still be alive, to be perfectly honest. I think that they've done everything they had to do and more. I don't think they'll solve it. I think they need to find the needle in the haystack, which is DOC. He's really digging the trash now. So I'm going to Irish goodbye, everybody. I'll see you later. I'll see you soon. Thank you for hanging out with me. I love all of you. We will continue soon. And it's a great question. I think they probably thought that they were on good footing because they were. I don't know. Yes, they will. Anyway, good night. I love all of you. Talk to you soon.